Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Memecoins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss this morning's crypto pullback ahead of Jerome Powell's Jackson Hole speech. We're going to talk about a massive W for plasma presale buyers and how we are trading this volatile market. GM, thank you for tuning in. As always, it's been a banger of a week. We've been all over the place. If you're on Spaces listening in, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a retweet if you're feeling so generous. Maybe a bookmark as well. If you're listening on YouTube, give us some comments. Let us know what you're buying today. Let us know what you're selling. Let us know what you think Jay Powell is going to do at the J hole. Give us a little bit of love today. Kicks. How you feeling?
No, Ray, I'm chiming in here. I'm chiming in here. Did you participate in the plasma presale?
Nope.
Interesting. I paid Clemente's cousin Ernesto $40 to use his ID, so I got in pretty substantially.
Let's go. Did you really?
Yeah, I got in. I got in really well. I actually made $700,000. Really easy money. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, shout out Ernesto. Slid him a $20 bill. Ernesto.
Clemente, get Ernesto. Dude, let's fucking rug his aloe. Ernesto can go in and claim it.
He doesn't even have a computer. He just sent me a picture of his passport. So that's all I really needed.
I can't even say what I'm going to say.
Big time W. Hey, we're gonna do some YEET giveaways today. We're gonna do some YEET giveaways.
Yeet!
Clemente.
Skirt!
Clemente,
Yeet!
can you fire us a little bit of yeet
Hold
here?
up! Skirt that! Work that! Skirt that! You never loved me, Mom, because you stole my woe.
Love it. Love it. We got some YEET giveaways. You can become eligible for these if you sign up at bodongos.com/yeet. We got the Yeeter board. We've got a ton of activity. We got a ton of names here. We've got them all on a wheel. We put them in this morning before the show. We're going to do a little spin here. Kicks, give me a 3, 2, 1, go countdown on the first one. It's going to be for $500.
3, 2, 1, go!
This $500 right here?
$500.
Poverty.
Poverty's no longer poor.
Let's go. How ironic is that? We're going to remove them out of this. We're going to do a couple more of these throughout the show. One there. I think we're going to do 4 of these throughout the show. Poverty.
How do I qualify?
What's up?
How do I qualify?
Can't be.
You can't.
You can't.
No, but what do you need to do?
Go to bodongos.com/yeet.
That's it?
Sign up.
Sign up?
Do volume. Any kind of volume on the platform gets you on this wheel when we do these free-for-alls for everyone. Sometimes we reward volume more so with like more entries. Sometimes we just do it fair like this. We're going to keep you guessing.
Shit. Damn. Okay. I'm going to get my cousin Ernesto in on this.
Yeah, get Ernesto in while you're at it. He's been a busy guy lately. I think he got easy in on this too. I heard you talking about some interesting ways to get up the leaderboard with a small amount of capital easy this morning. So YEET's interesting. 40% of the airdrops going back to community holders. We did the YEET tournament. I actually just checked in on this today. They're into the semis now. It's got Wiz versus FOMO Hour. I would love to see the FOMO Hour guys, Mando over there, take a little taste of their own medicine after seeding us against Wiz in round 1. I would like to see Wiz take them down here and go into the finals. I don't know who you guys are rooting for here, but that's a big matchup. Anyway, sign up at YEET, bodongos.com/YEET. 40% airdrop. Lots of people are farming. Everyone's talking about it on the timeline as well. Love the product. Love the team over there building in crypto.
I'm pissed off right now, right? Can we check on this? We need to get PO on the show.
Why is
I just see this. Strategy Vice President Andrew Kang sold $20 million worth of MicroStrategy stocks so far this month.
Look at that guy. His jaw's bigger than his brain.
Is this the crypto investor?
I like this guy.
No.
Look at this guy.
It's a different Andrew
Ray,
Kang?
that's racist. This is a different Andrew Kang.
Okay.
Is this guy a former boxer?
No, he's got a massive. Look at.
You've heard of a V-shaped recovery. Have you heard of a U-shaped recovery?
Dude, a phenomenal jaw. Where's this guy's ancestors from? Went to University of Virginia for biology and accounting. UVA, phenomenal school.
I mean, dude, what's I'm so
Look,
pissed. We need to get P on the. I mean, this is
He's
what
been
I'm
there for
talking-
3.5 years. He should be able to sell some shares, man.
$20 million worth.
He probably just got an unlock.
PO responds, "Don't worry about it."
What do you want him to
Awesome
sell at the
response,
lows?
PO. God,
What do you want him to sell at the lows?
I wanted to give me an actual
No,
unbiased.
you're like one of
response.
those people in crypto that gets mad when other people sell because
Dude,
you're like
he's
it's making price go
extracting.
down.
He's extracting.
Oh, he sold before I sold.
You got to
Oh,
sell
God.
on the way up. Not
You
when
got
we're
fucking
nuking.
hanged, dude.
Half basic. I'm not
God
putting that on the screen. Half basic. That one got me good.
All right.
All right.
damn it.
We've
No,
got
that's crazy.
we've got a ton to talk about today. Kicks, hit up a little weather report and then we'll get into the show. We got so much.
Is he a
fun.
Chinese or Korean Kang? I'm researching on ChatGPT right now. Also could be Mongolian. Ladies and gentlemen, Friday, August 22nd, the majors are down in the morning with Bitcoin around 112K, Ethereum in the 4,200, Solana under 180. It's hype just chilling under 41. Shitty end of August. Odds of September rate cut dropped to 60% on PolyMarket this morning ahead of Jerome Powell's speech at Jackson Hole. The speech is slated to start at 10 a.m. Eastern today. Jerome Powell and his buddies don't want average middle Americans to be able to afford housing. That's a crazy elitist position. Next up, Hyperliquid opened the Plasma XPL token pre-launch market. The XPL token was available at a 500 million FDV during its pre-sale. It's now trading up 8x at $4.2 billion. That's a kind of big return. Finally, U.S. Acting Assistant Attorney General Matt Gagliotti said that writing code is not a crime. This comes on the heels of Roman Storm being found guilty of conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business for writing the code that powered Crypto Mixer Tornado Cash. That sucks. Where did he get prosecuted in the United States of America? That's it for the weather report. Back to you in the studio.
Excellent weather report as always. Prosecuted in New York.
New York, dude.
Mhm.
Never step foot in New York.
Yeah, I was listening to a Bankless podcast. I was doing an ETH Maxi thing where I just listened to all ETH propaganda last weekend, and I was listening to a Bankless podcast, and they were like, yeah, like one of the things that they might like try to overturn is like doing it in New York when like none of the tornado cash could like be provably done in New York. It was like all this weird stuff. But I listened to two lawyers talk about the case for about an hour while I was packing up my house and moving. So interesting stuff with Roman Storm. I think they are going to appeal a number of these charges and hopefully get some legislation in place that protects devs essentially and allows for innovation in the U.S. Good step here by the acting active assistant attorney general coming out and saying this at least. I don't even know. Is this like a Dwight Schrute situation? It was like assistant to the acting attorney general. Is this like just some random guy in the office? I don't know.
So you like Bankless? What other podcasts?
Anything Tom Lee's on, really?
Call Her Daddy?
What'd you say?
Call Her Daddy?
Yeah, Call Her Daddy. I've been into the Barstool. Have you been watching any of the Barstool Beach House stuff?
No.
It's like the social media reality show. I'm kind of fascinated by it, like as an experiment. Basically, a reality TV show that's done 100% on iPhone video live. Pretty cool idea.
Interesting.
Are you aware of it, or you just choose not to
I've
watch
seen a couple posts on it, but I'm more of a Love Island, Bachelor. I'm old school. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Survivor guy. Me and my wife watched 40 seasons of Survivor during COVID lockdown, so we were pretty big into that kind of show. We've got lots to talk about. We have the J-Hole stuff. We've been talking about this all week. Jackson Hole speech, 10 a.m. today. Markets are not happy this morning. Since I've written the call sheet, prices are down even more. Bitcoin's flirting with losing 112K now. Hyperliquid's actually bounced a little bit here on the volatility, which I think you'd expect, seeing more and more volume on the perps platforms. I pulled up a graphic during the weather report, essentially outlining price action of equities after the last 5 Jackson Hole speeches. So like kind of mixed bag before. Like sometimes it was even-ish, sometimes it was up-ish, sometimes it was down-ish. On the day of the speech, also a mixed bag. But the thing I looked here is like the following week, we had 3 of the last 5 years were down 2% or more. Only 1 of the last 5 years where we up after the Jackson Hole speech. So I think a lot's going to depend on like what he says, but markets have trended downwards after the speech in general. That could be being priced in now a little bit. If we see some language on the dovish side, maybe like we just see this giga run. I have no idea what's going to happen, and I don't know if I can provide any kind of like guess or context. Easy, are you any more plugged into this? Or are you basically just reacting?
Just reacting. I'm kind of just like, I don't think there's a trade that needs to be made here. I think you can kind of just wait.
Okay. Okay. So 10 a.m. He starts talking. Are you going to be like watching, streaming, like potentially live trading it? Or are you going to be like, hey, sit on my hands, wait till we see like a 4-hour close and then
I'm
trade
gonna
off
wait.
Okay.
I think the best move is to just wait. I don't think there's a need to like run into any trade.
Yep. I think I'm of the same mind. I'll be tuned in. I'll be listening. If he does like, I mean, if I'm listening, it sounds like he's like really like ready to cut. I think you can probably safely go long. But I think any other scenario is just going to be a wait and see. But like if he's like, hey, like it's time, which I think is like a very, very low percentage chance, then I might trade on the long side. But otherwise, I'm just going to be sitting on my hands. What's
Okay,
that?
don't ask the chief macro correspondents, Kicks and Clemente. That's cool, right? That's cool.
Okay, well, we're gonna go over to our CMC over here, Clemente on macro, the chief macro correspondent. How you doing? Let us know what's going on.
Hey, Raymond. Raymond, how's it going? I'm feeling bullish for this upcoming announcement, just based on historical data. A lot of the times, we see around a 0.5 to 1% dump in the market following the J hole. So I'm taking the opposite approach with my B hole, and I am longing going into this. Back over to you.
Kicks, what are your thoughts on today? Are you really even using this as a data point? You've been just cool and collected and chilling.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about this one. I didn't give a shit about the last one or the one before it or the one before that.
Do you think like maybe part of this is like price action is just moving away from us and everyone's just like using Jackson Hole as like a reason why?
Yeah, I mean, September is pretty bad for stock market and equities and crypto, so that's probably why it dumps after J hole. But yeah, I don't care. It's not going to affect anything I'm doing. Not going to affect anything I'm doing. It all really, people should care less about J hole and more about S hole.
What's S hole?
Sailor hole. Is he going to buy some more Bitcoin?
Yeah, their buys have been very, very muted the last couple months, outside of like the few blips from their raises.
I'm also looking at A hole.
Okay, what's going on with the A hole?
Tom Lee, is he buying?
Why is he an A hole?
Because he's Asian.
Whoa, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was an easy layup. All right, move.
That wasn't cool.
No, that was stupid.
Can you apologize to Tom?
Speaking of A-holes, let's take a look over at Plasma's XPL token on Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid with these pre-launch markets, setting the market before we go. So if you remember, we've been talking about this on the show since they launched. We were like, this is probably going to be pretty big. Plasma,
really uncomfortable.
The Tether chain, stablecoin focused chain. There was a pretty large raise. I think it was like 1 bill, 1.5 bill raised, maybe more. Like they opened it up a couple times after they closed it. Essentially, the format was like you deposited stables in, and then based on how much you deposited and kept in, you got an allocation to buy some of the pre-sale. And then that pre-sale token was sold at 5 cents. It's trading right now at 43 cents. So that's like over 8x on investment.
Are people locked?
So the people that you deposited tokens, right? Yeah, those tokens are locked. And you're going to be getting those tokens when the chain goes live. Like your stables will be on Plasma, the ones you locked up.
No, the tokens that you got, are those locked?
I don't believe
XPL tokens. They're all fully unlocked.
I think so.
Why would I want to own this?
It's the only way to get liquid exposure to Tether. or like the quickest way, like the quickest like resolving vesting way to get liquid exposure to Tether, which is the
Which
largest
just
pool.
hired Bo Hines.
Exactly. I'm gonna go over to DeFi Llama. We can pull up some fees and show you kind of why you
Are
want
they
to be
going to be
bullish.
buying back the token? Why would they want to launch this token? I'm confused.
Well, I mean, it's so like Tether's backing Plasma. Plasma's launching a stablecoin chain, and Plasma's launching the token. So Tether leads all platforms in revenue. So over the last 7 days, they've done 3x the revenue of Circle, which is number 2. So
Wow.
that's why people are interested in Plasma. Backed by Tether. Tether, essentially, people calling it Tether chain. Best way to get Tether exposure right now.
Easy. Did you actually get into this?
Shout out your cousin Ernesto.
No, but did you actually?
No, it wasn't allowed for U.S. participants. You have
But
an Argentinian passport and you don't use it as well as you should.
Yeah.
I don't. How am I going to
Easy.
use it?
Easy. We need to remember. We need to use this like as well as we should. We need to make sure
That's
that
what I'm
like
saying. Because
yeah.
dude, it KYCs you. You can KYC with that passport. Yeah. I have
Are
a
you
British
serious?
passport, and the issue is they
Oh,
still
dude.
ban a lot of the UK stuff. Like UK
lost my-
typically gets like bumped in with a lot of the US stuff, so I can't use that.
I think
Which
I lost
sucks.
my passport, but
But like you
But-
have that Venezuelan passport that we should be taking advantage of.
Chilean. So what? You just
Yeah,
scan your
the
passport. and you're
Ecuadorian
like, yeah.
passport, we should be uploading it into the system and using.
Perlo's like, yo, no one got into this next topic, guys. Come on. I would be interested in buying this. Ray, if you're telling me this is what's Circle's market cap?
Jarvis. What's Circle's
Jarvis,
market cap?
what's 30 billion? This thing's at 4.5. Why would this not at least be a 10? Or am
Well,
I being
it's
stupid?
not directly like it's not a direct comp on Circle. It's not like this or like Tether. It's not like this is Tether. It's just Tether exposure essentially.
Got it.
Like it's not like Tether is saying like, hey, this is the Tether. Like it's like derivative exposure, I'd say, of Tether.
All right. Well,
I don't have a date on the TGE for Plasma for the XPL token. It's also pretty cool that like Hyperliquid is offering these in general. Like this has done $78 million of volume over the last 24 hours, but I mean, it really only started trading this morning at 5:15 a.m. So 4 hours, it's done 78 million of volume. Like this is bullish Hyperliquid as well. Continue to be bullish here. Continue to farm. Hyper EVM has been my focus, but I'm still making trades on Hyperliquid Core as well, doing some leverage. So excited for Hyperliquid. I think this is a big win for them as well as for XPL token holders. Moving on today. Overall, I mean, just a lot of chop in the market. Has there been anything you guys have been watching that's been like interesting, like token wise? Everything seems to be like down or flat. Nothing like really jumping out to me necessarily.
I'm not really like doing too much, to be honest. Memes have caught like a few memes have caught some bids. So like there are some stuff that has done decent that I think is interesting. Clemente's portfolio hasn't, thank God. That's like the main one that I'm excited about not catching bids. But dude, a few like there was a coin yesterday that ran to like 3.5 mil.
yeah, it was 4.5 mil.
Which one was
very
that?
familiar with it.
Which one was it?
Mariah.
Oh, and what's it about?
It was this girl that went viral
For
Is it
what?
this one?
for having a large bosom.
I don't even want to say what I get into
with
this one.
It ran to 4 million.
I don't want to share my P&L on this one.
The MM. Speaking of P&Ls, Easy's up 8% on Clemente right now.
On the 30-day 10K challenge.
Yeah, we're looking at the 10K challenge. We
Oh, the Takabo didn't work out, huh? Or Docker, but you should just put it all in troll, man.
These things
Docker.
flip
Look at the
daily.
Docker, dude.
Docker really bad.
That is so bad.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. I was thinking about this. I think if I'm gonna like buy into anything here, I almost want to just have a lot of stables for whenever PolyMarket or Myriad launches their tokens. I
What does that
want to
mean?
like full port prediction markets.
So prediction markets generally peak when we have an election cycle, right? Like a
I think they're
presidential
gonna be so
election
much
cycle.
bigger than you can possibly comprehend. Like,
Yes,
I look at what Robinhood's doing with Kalshi, and I'm like, this is very interesting to me. Like, I think it's a way for you to get exposure to the house on gambling where people don't view it as gambling. As dumb as that sounds, but they don't for whatever reason.
Are you worried about there being
Dude,
too much competition in the
Yeah.
space?
Bro, there's 600 different casinos, and all of them are profitable.
Okay.
The only thing losing in the casino world is Vegas because everyone went online. So, like, why would I not want to bet on something like that? And I don't know. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, I think you could basically full port into Myriad or PolyMarket whenever either one of those launch their token and just hold it. Because the thing is, once you start, like, dude, I look at something like YEET as a casino and how much money they've already had go through the platform. If PolyMarket's token launches, why would it not be one of, if not like a top 10 coin, top 20 coin?
What's the competitive advantage? Like, what about Kalshi? What, like,
they'll never launch a coin.
The reason why YEET is doing as well as it is because it has an upcoming token. People are okay with losing money on that because they're going to get reimbursed by the token.
Hopefully.
Right? Like
Obviously.
that drives a lot of the, and I think they're doing a lot of things unique. And
they also have that, but their marketing is massive, dude. They crush the marketing side of things. They have the highest RTP, which is return the player. So in theory, you could go delta neutral and farm a ton of volume and just print. Like, I think I'm still top 500 and I only put $1,000 into the platform just because I was just funneling over and over and over and over. But I look at like the prediction side of things, like PolyMarket, dude. If PolyMarket drops a token, their ability to market and the capital that they have to market and be first to market and something people already know and don't associate as a crypto app is what like really separates it, in my opinion. Because the thing is, now you can just buy into it for like the narrative. That's the thing, as like prediction markets continue to gain traction.
We just talked about YEET. I want to do another spin. Clemente, help me up for a spin and count me down here.
Let's do
$500.
$500. $500 on the line here. How many people are in this? 46 entries.
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Big money, big money, big money, big money, big money. My guess is Dorado Soldado. No, it's Ferns. Ferns, congratulate.
Oh! Whoa, that was close.
It's Ferns.
Ferns, $500. Congratulations, courtesy of our friends over at YEET. Love to see it. Love to see it. We'll do some more at the end of the show. But just want to do that while we're talking. If you want to sign up for these giveaways, bodoggos.com/YEET to do so. PolyMarket activity. Kix, what are some of your big play or like your main plays in terms of farming PolyMarket for volume? I know you've been talking about this a little bit on the show. Like what are your strategies for just doing volume on the platform? Like what kind of plays are you making?
Yeah, I think just actively using the platform and making trades that you think are good is the best way to quote unquote farm an airdrop. Like I don't think just like trying to farm a ton of volume is going to be the best play because there's already market makers that are really good at farming a ton of volume. And I think if PolyMarket is smart, they're going to like slash just pure volume a little bit. And they're going to try to reward what like looks like more like real genuine users. So that's going to be people that like hold shares through resolution, people that hold shares for a duration of time. So I think focusing on just markets that you like and you think that you have an edge on. So for example, there's a lot of crypto markets that you can trade on, even like down to like price action. What price will Solana hit during this period of time? So if you consider yourself a really good crypto trader, then you can focus on the crypto markets there and do pretty well. They also have very active sports markets. I mentioned this on Wednesday. I think the cool thing about PolyMarket sports markets is that it's completely liquid throughout the whole time, and you're not getting like hosed on cash outs like you do on sports books. So for example, if you're like a big football player, you can take futures on who you think is going to win the AFC championship or NFC championship, and you can trade those throughout the season.
Liquid, they even have individual games though. Like you can every Sunday you can take individual games.
Exactly. So if you already like to bet on individual games and you're trying to farm the PolyMarket airdrop, then instead of using DraftKings, you can use PolyMarket. Me personally, I mostly focus on like a mixture of political things, some crypto things, business related things. Like, for example, what was the top AI of the month? Bet on Google winning that, and got the shares cheaply when everyone thought that ChatGPT was going to do well. Um, I bet on Hyperliquid daily fees going above 8 million in 2025. Got that in like the 50s. So there's lots of markets, and you just kind of have to like figure out the ones that like work for you. But I do think it's a phenomenal idea to try to get exposure to PolyMarket, especially if they will eventually turn on fees, probably similar to Kalshi fees. And what'll be really interesting is if they do a Hyperliquid or a pump fund-esque model where a percentage of their fees goes back to buying the token, and that could be even more bullish.
He's out of control, Ray. He made me ask my dad, who I thought was going to win the presidential election. He tried to get some insider information. I asked him, by the way.
In Chile.
He's like, I was like, so Dad, who do you think? I sent him the PolyMarket out. I'm like, who do you think is going to win the election? He's like, why are you gambling on the election?
I don't know if Bolivia is close to you in Chile, but the Bolivian presidential election was wild. This guy, Rodrigo Paz, had a 0.3% chance of winning on PolyMarket, and it looks like he's going to win. So zero, you could have got him for 0.1%. He's now 77%. So there's a nice 77x. But it's a really fun thing to like. A lot of these markets are really fun to trade because you can try to find, like, you can research these things, you know what I mean? And you can try to find edges. Like if you go back to the French, genius that put $70 million on Trump winning the election, right? He made, like, it wasn't, this guy was just some diehard Trump fan. He made, like, did a lot of analysis. I think he even hired someone to like do polls for him. And he looked at the cross tabs, I think is what he said. And he basically said that like the polls were showing that Trump was going to win the entire time. It was all in the data, just no one was looking for it. And I think the key thing that he saw was some of these polls asked, who do you think is going to win the election? And who do you think like your neighbor's going to vote for? Right. And the polls were saying Kamala Harris, I'm going to vote for. But then the majority of people were saying they think their neighbor is going to vote for Donald Trump. Right. That was like one of the cross tabs that he looked at. Anyways, this guy actually did like, so what I'm saying is there's so much money hidden in uncovering the data. And to Easy's point about prediction markets being huge, I don't just look at it as sports gambling, right? Like a big market right now is what's going to be the highest grossing film of 2025, right? And Minecraft movie is in the lead. And the second place is Zootopia 2, which hasn't even come out yet and will come in November. I don't have an edge on movie markets, but there's people out there that very well may have an edge on movie markets and can do that research, do that analysis, figure it out. So I think it's a really fun thing to do. Especially if you like trading crypto, and this can just be another thing that you spend some time and energy on. But there's countless markets there, and it's the same as crypto, where like the whole game is finding where like the market is materially wrong, and you can have a view that most people don't have a view of. So like Pio having a view of MSTR being a great buy when no one else thought it's a great buy, right? And then now it went to $300 or $400. Now is it more of a consensus buy and it's less of a great buy here? I don't know. Point being is, when the Trump token dropped, right? The people that made money is the people that realized that the market was pricing it super low and it was going to explode over the next 48 hours. There's all sorts of those opportunities on PolyMarket as well. And I think it's underlooked at right now in terms of like people actually participating in it. So I think it could be one of those airdrops like a Hyperliquid, where in hindsight, everybody's like, dude, why the fuck wasn't I on there? Like trading on that. I know a guy that, just had an average account and he made 20 grand, on the airdrop. I think you could potentially hear, stories like that. And I think the cool thing on PolyMarket is like, you can't get rugged. You can, but very rarely. But you know what I mean? It's not like this game of like, are you going to get rugged? There's like maybe less returns. Like you're not going to get 1,000x on a PolyMarket market. It's mathematically impossible, right? But it's way more fair. You know, there's not like manipulation and rigging. There's a little bit from time to time, but mostly not. Anyways, I think it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, prediction markets are super cool. And I think that they're only going to get more involved. What's going on, Ray?
No, sorry. I was adjusting the screen there. I was going to say, welcome. How you feeling? What you got to talk about today? I feel like there's something you want to talk about.
I talked to him about, I tag him in the thing about this Andrew Kane guy, the MicroStrategy guy selling $20 million of stock, expecting like a rational response. Like, no, you know, this happens, blah, blah, blah. He just goes, suck it up.
I did not say that. Don't worry about it. I said, don't worry about it.
Said, no, don't worry about it, period.
I'm looking more into that, but you know, all this
He
stuff,
said, shut up, bitch.
No, I did not say that at all. That stuff's typically a nothing burger. Right now, you know, 1.5x MNAV is a better time to buy MicroStrategy than 2.5x MNAV, but people didn't want to buy it even before like the big run. So I'm not here to talk about MicroStrategy. The crypto audience is not super jazzed up about it. But I wanted to make sure, just like I put open on Wax a week ago, I wanted to make sure that I reiterated something that I've talked about on this show before, which is about these Bitcoin mining companies that are able to operate in the AI data center sector. And they had their Bitcoin ETF moment last week. So that's not like, essentially, I've been listening to Mike Alfred talk about this, listen to some of the people in Mike Alfred's orbit talk about this. And one guy made this awesome comparison saying that this announcement from Google, so basically Google took a super sizable bet in this company Terawulf, okay, which is, so Mike Alfred's been saying for like 2 years that this is going to happen. He's been dead ass saying this for 2 years since iron was like $3.60, maybe lower, maybe like $3 on the dot, that the big tech companies are going to need more, you know, computational power for the AI shit that they're all doing. Obviously, Google has AI. Apple apparently absolutely sucks at AI. And, you know, the other big tech companies are obviously getting really, really big in AI.
Have you ever used Siri?
Sorry?
Have you ever used Siri, Apple's voice assistant?
I've never been a Siri user as long as I've had an iPhone.
It sucks ass.
It seems that way.
It's
I mean,
absolutely terrible.
Jason Calacanis from the All In podcast, you know, was operating in a sector that I think he's qualified to operate in, which is like AI and big tech. And he was just absolutely shitting on it, talking about how he said it feels like they're trying to lose intentionally. But anyway, going back to this, so Google took this massive stake in Terawulf, and that's like almost like an announcement of the Bitcoin ETF. Because if you guys remember when the Bitcoin ETF was announced, how big that was, because I think that was within 10 months of FTX imploding. So we were still in a place where the kind of mainstream narrative, I remember like people in my life in New York, like good friends of mine, people that work at companies like Google and you know, some of these big name companies were essentially acting like there was no crypto industry and that my business was like a lemonade stand. That's like what I remember from that time, and that it was just inevitably going to, we were inevitably going to go out of business, right? I remember one comment where he was like, the industry's shrinking to zero. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense, right? The industry with Bitcoin is going to shrink to zero. We'll see. But anyway, then BlackRock came through and announced the ETF, and everybody started pointing out that BlackRock had every single ETF that they'd ever filed for approved, with the exception of one out of like 396 or something. And the one that was not approved, it turns out it was not approved on a technicality. They refiled and it got approved. So everyone's like, okay, cool. We're about to have a spot Bitcoin ETF for the first time. And that was like this big moment where all of a sudden over the next coming months, you saw insane pumps in Coinbase, MicroStrategy, and Bitcoin itself, right? Because people were like, all right, this is real again. We want to get exposure. This is bigger than Sam Bankman-Fried. This Terawulf moment is a moment that Mike Alfred has been talking about for multiple years and is now here. Like last week is kind of the Bitcoin ETF moment for these data center companies. And so my main exposure is Iron, which is Mike Alfred's on the board of, and I've been in, the first time I bought it was $3.97. It's $19 now. It was a very tough hold. Bitcoin mining companies are a tough hold, so I did not hold it directly from there, and I rebuilt my position in the teens. But yeah, this is Iron right here. Typical chart, just like if you look at the Terawulf chart, blow off top from 2021. If you look at Bitcoin mining numbers from 2021, there's some insane multiples because they were almost like the Bitcoin treasury stocks, the meme coins of that previous cycle when there were just fewer assets that you can buy at the institutional level that gave you exposure to Bitcoin and crypto. And then Cypher mining is the other one, which has a lower price tag right now, potentially a higher multiple. Eric Jackson is also in on both of these and views these as an absolute no-brainer, which is why he's just totally focused on open. He's like, he's just going to be 1000% open for probably the next 2 years, open door, because these things to him is like, this is just a fucking no-brainer. These are going to absolutely send. I didn't even realize Iron sent that much over just the past couple of months. Like, holy shit. As you can see, if you look at the chart, they're very volatile. But just wanted to come here and like talk about this particular trend. There's also a viral chart going around on Twitter that shows that the trend of commercial real estate being built is going down and the trend of data centers being built is going up. And they're about to essentially converge. So
interesting.
The future is data centers. It's not offices. I don't
and
think
energy, PO. I don't know if you saw, I looked at Google News this morning and there was a big approval to reopen a nuclear power plant in the United States, first in a very long time. I think it signals a big shift. As you probably are well aware of the correlation between the need for energy and data centers. One of my buddies actually was big on trading in nuclear stocks. It's an interesting time to be alive, right? Because there's all these ways to express views. I love this view on mining companies and the need for data centers. I think it's very good, PO. Also, fun fact, not to go back to PolyMarket, but Clemente is not the only person that's been getting random weird DMs from me. PO also about 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden I'm hitting him up and I'm asking him all these questions about MicroStrategy.
Well, no, you're asking, do you think he DMs me? He goes, do you think Saylor will buy 30,000 Bitcoins in the next like 5 weeks? I was like, why the fuck are you asking me that? It was just such an oddly specific question about like the acquisition of Bitcoin with a specific date on. I was like, I just didn't know what the hell you were asking me for. And, but anyway, Kix hit on it because Kix, you put the bet in like 3 days right before he announced Stretch, which was his biggest, his biggest preferred raise ever.
Yeah, so it worked out well.
That worked out well. But yeah, I mean, back to the energy thing. I mean, Bitcoin is backed by energy, right? Energy is basically, it's really the most valuable like commodity in the world when you sort of think about it. Gold is a shiny rock at this point. It just is. Like, I don't think anybody listening to this show, maybe a few people, think that long term, like it's going to be more valuable to hold gold than to hold Bitcoin, right? And so Bitcoin is backed by energy. That's what Bitcoin is. It's a network of energy, and that's what secures the network. So this data center stuff is like absolute. It's like super juicy, man. After last week is like a watershed moment for it. It's crazy.
I mean, thank God Trump won, because I mean, China's fucked on, or sorry, Europe is fucked on energy. Like they pretty much just written themselves off to be a second world country for the next 50 years, or second world conglomerate of countries. China very far in the lead on energy production. India doing quite well, hoping that Trump's administration opens the doors so that America can be big on energy again and actually go after things like I don't know, getting more oil, opening nuclear power plants, because all of that correlates with robotics, AI, data centers. All of this stuff is all connected, and you got to just keep the environmentalists far away from decision making. Let them own their little fucking hippie, commune wherever they want. Go buy some land, make your little fucking hippie commune, run it on fucking water and love, and let everybody else actually get the energy we need to be competitive against China. Okay, because I'm brushing up on my Chinese because what I've said some inflammatory stuff online. My family's not going to do well if China takes over. Okay, so I need America to do well. I've made too many jokes, okay, that are on the internet. I'm the first one going to the concentration camp if China takes over the United States, or re-education camp, whatever you want to call it.
if the Chinese overlords take over, Kicks is out the door. You know, on the energy thing, last thing, and then I want to talk to Easy about Jackson Hole and what's going on, you know, with the Fed today. But real quick, so on the energy thing, nuclear energy is actually one of the most efficient and environmentally friendly forms of energy that we can have. But there's like sort of strange political pushback against it. But it's great to know. I wasn't even aware that that progress was happening in the United States. So thank you, Kicks, for bringing that up. You know, solar. The future is going to be solar and nuclear. And it's funny too that Elon Musk is such a huge solar guy, but it seems like he's also, you know, an outcast from like environmentalist groups at this point, which is strange because he's doing fully electric cars, the premier fully electric car company, and really on the forefront of solar as well with Solar City and some of the other action that he has. I think Tesla's got a lot of solar stuff going on too. Listen to a podcast with one of the people from Solar City the other day. It was actually pretty fascinating, pretty good stuff. Easy, what do you think about what's going on in Jackson Hole, buddy?
It's Powell's last speech. The more I think about it, the more I lean that there's probably not going to be anything major like on it. I mean, markets are actually kind of like ripping right now, which is like very interesting to see. We've got a pretty decent rally off of the lows right now.
Got priced in earlier this week, right?
It's tough to say if it was priced in because if you look at the equity market, stocks and everything have just held up. They didn't sell off as hard as crypto. Crypto seemed to sell off significantly harder. Obviously, it's a more volatile asset. S&P is already up almost 0.5% post-open, which is really good. So you're seeing some like very positive moves in the market. My concern, though, is the volume on these buy candles is not as strong as I would hope it to be. Like when you look at the volume charts, you're not getting like a big wick up in volume, which usually would be indicative of a more positive move. If the volume rises here, then I become significantly more interested. Long story short, though, I think what a lot of people are hoping for is dovish talk, which is like Powell coming out saying that one data point isn't enough to not cut. September looks like we'll cut, etc. We just got word that one of the individuals at the Fed is stepping down. Michael Falkender, the second highest official at the Treasury Department, is leaving the admin, which some people think is bullish. I don't know enough about that to be completely transparent. But what I do like is market open, pre-Powell talking in 11 minutes, kind of pushing up higher here. Bitcoin back over 112, ETH back over 43, SOL up to 181. I'm a fan of that, obviously. But my bigger concern here would be like, is it the fake out before the move? Powell comes out and he's hawkish at all. That's a big concern. He comes out and says like PPI data is enough to wait. You have a few individuals from the Treasury Department and the Fed both stating that like you have to front run data, which is always a good comment when it comes to rate cuts, which you're kind of hoping for. I look at stuff from the Fed Watch. It's down almost 20% for the likelihood of a cut. We're sitting at 71, 72% for a September cut right now.
That high?
Yeah, 73.5. Yeah,
it was like 80 or 90.
Dude, it hit 95% last week for a September cut. And then PPI data came out and it dropped to 80. And it's only been grinding lower since. What I'm looking forward to, though, is the December cuts, which is pricing in a 96% chance of at least one cut across those three. You have 47% chance for two cuts, 25% chance for three cuts, 25% chance that it'll be one cut by December. So you have some smart individuals, way smarter than me, saying that they anticipate 2 to 3 cuts this year, which I love to hear. My bigger concern, though, is you get 3 cuts this year. That shapes up for 2 to 3 cuts next year. 6 total is what Trump wants. Powell's last Jackson Hole. So it's more of a send-off than anything else. We'll see, truthfully. But I think us worrying too much about this is probably going to be viewed as like a nothing burger in comparison. When you look at the historic Jackson Holes, it's been 0.5% to 1% down day prior, 10% down the following week, 0.5% to 1% up, bigger move higher. So we'll see.
I think that going down on the back of this is more likely than going up. I think that should be totally expected. I also think that a cut in October, it's 1 month later. Who gives a shit? Like everyone, I feel like it's like leverage traders that give a shit about this stuff. Kicks?
Yes and no. I mean, I think it's more when you look at the equity side of things is like the most important, because if the equity market's pricing in one cut for September and you don't get it, that'll sell off significantly harder. So the equity market actually holding up here is one thing I'm like more closely watching. Like we're only $6 off all-time highs.
I think we're in this problem because people didn't learn from history and believe what Andrew Jackson said.
Enlighten us, Kicks.
No, that's spot on.
Yeah, Andrew Jackson was against central banks, central banking systems. Now the fate of our economy is in the hands of a bunch of private bankers, pushed originally by JP Morgan himself, and all the people that opposed him, he killed in the Titanic. And that's why we got the Federal Reserve.
So absolutely. And the Fed, Ron Paul shit, let's go. You have Bitcoin now, Kick. So all of your
Look at that guy. Winner.
I think Kicks is spot on. They all died in the Titanic, his enemies, and then we never landed on the moon shortly thereafter.
I mean, I think that's becoming more and more accepted, as it probably didn't happen.
Dude, I spoke to Easy about it earlier this week. I saw some footage. I was like, Easy, this doesn't look too convincing. Easy genuinely doesn't believe it.
I'm a diehard believer we never landed on the moon.
That's how they had to kill Stanley Kubrick, man.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick directed that shit. So
anyway, diehard believer. Nevada is one hell of a moon location, man.
Yeah, that was just Stanley Q. All right, so look, that's really funny. So I think that I would not expect anything dovish today, man. At best neutral. At best, I mean, if they come through and I
want neutral. Yeah, I want neutral.
Okay.
I think that people are freaking out on the short term, and the longer they push back rate cuts, the more it extends this cycle, the higher we can go, in my opinion.
Sure. Well, I also I don't know if I buy traditional 4-year cycle like math anymore. It's just like there's so many variables now that are completely different. Really, when you think about it, even last cycle, the asset class was so immature and underdeveloped, and now we have an ETF, and we have people like Larry Fink saying that it's digital gold and all this shit, and we have Google buying a stake in a Bitcoin mining company. It's just a really, really different environment right now. That doesn't mean that I don't think the price action can kind of look similar, but I don't know if you look at from when Obama got elected until 2020. If you look at basically post the 2009 financial crash, I'm sure Easy has opinions about this, probably Kicks too. If you look at post 09 until 2020, if you look at that chart, it's basically a 10-year bull run, man. It pretty much is. There's some big corrections, but the highs are always.
Were they that big though? Dude, the market always V-shape recovers, and it will always V-shape recover. The COVID situation was one of the most clear, they're not going to let the fucking world collapse, dude. Yeah. The housing market crisis, they're not going to let the world collapse. The 08 financial crisis, they weren't going to let the world collapse. We had a 25-30% drawdown in April because of tariffs. It is a literal V-shaped recovery to higher highs.
And why is that easy? Why is it that it always goes up and the highs are always higher and there's always a V-shaped recovery? Why?
I mean, it's because the dollar and equity markets are the largest grossing income source for the elite.
Sure, but what about
the core?
Inflation and fiat. Yeah, that's why.
They're debasing the absolute shit out of the money and have been since 1971 at an exponential rate. It started small, just like a heroin addict starts with just a tiny amount. And then before you know it, you're sticking the needle in between your toes and in between your fingers to find a spot because you've injected so much heroin, right? And so the 09 financial collapse was essentially the financial system operating without any guardrails and giving mortgages to people that didn't deserve them, and then those people basically just walked away from them. And it, caused a fucking house of cards to fall. For example, we wouldn't be funding wars in other parts of the world if you had to send them Bitcoin, right? Or if you had to send them gold. Do you really think we'd be taking gold and putting it on boats and sending it to other parts of the world over and over again?
It's also because the dollar is not actually backed by anything, dude. It's just a number on a screen at this point. That's all it is. There's no backing to it. They eliminated that before any of us were alive.
It's backed by the ability to tax the American people.
Yeah, and the ability to lend it out to other countries and all that other stuff. I mean, dude, I look at what the government's buying back treasuries and bonds right now at an exorbitant rate, which they just started doing over the last 2 to 3 months. That's a sign in itself of the fact that rates are going to get cut, because when you buy it high with rates, you'll be able to refinance or sell the debt at a better premium. So I look at that and I'm like, okay, so clearly we're like quantitative easing is happening. It's just not happening in the same way that we just sent $1,200 to every single individual. So, and it'll always happen. Like that dollar chart is like one of the worst charts I've ever seen in my life. Like if you go to the DXY, like dollar index, and look at the weekly, this thing just looks like shit. And even when the dollar rips, if you go all the way back to like the monthly on this thing, dating back to 1967, we have only made lower highs.
Here's what I'll say.
Look at this fucking chart, dude. This thing has only made lower highs and lower lows historically.
You know who thinks we're getting rate cuts? Old man Warren Buffett.
Oh, Buff does.
Well, I
he's
think
also
he does.
so heavy cash right now. He went stupid heavy cash, and he's recently been starting to deploy again, which is like what you want to see from him.
But he put $1 billion specifically into two major home builders, Lennar and DR Horton, which would be a sign that he thinks the housing market is going to recover via rate cuts, because that's what builders.
Well, it's even more interesting, Kicks, is that new home prices are outpacing old home prices for the first time in history, which shows that if we get cuts, the likelihood for home buyers increases, and with the exorbitant amount of home prices on the market, the exorbitant amount of just home numbers on the market, the supply is outpacing buyers because rates are high. You drop rates lower, more buyers step in, and ultimately demand then increases. Thus, builders have to build more homes. And where they're building is extremely interesting to me, because you have to look at that. Like, I would love to be able to, and there's a couple platforms obviously that do it, but that's besides the point. But I'd love to be able to bet on like geographic locations for home growth, because you go through, this is gonna, like, this goes down into this whole urban economics degree that my dumbass thought would be a good secondary degree to get. But there's cycles in which people move from cities to suburbs and suburbs to cities. And we are now experiencing the city to suburb transition again. COVID was city to suburbs, and we've just had a 2-year cycle of people moving back into cities, where now a lot of individuals are moving out of cities. And you're seeing, this is another random kind of tangent, but data point to look at is the amount of individuals and Gen Z individuals who are not drinking as much anymore. So social outings are decreasing, which is causing prices in cities to decrease because people just don't
male
want to
virginity to go up.
Yeah. That's also very true.
Almost at 50. It's almost at 50% for males under the age of 30.
I don't buy that. That's
in that list, man.
Thing I've ever heard in my life. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Half of males under 30 have never had sex. I do not believe that for a fucking.
Well, like 8-year-olds aren't having sex, so that's inflating the half.
You got to go eligible sex. So
yeah, what age do you think, Clemente?
13 to 30.
Clemente didn't until he was 23. Real quick, back to the housing. Didn't know we were back to the housing. So, you know, people are pointing out this bullish stuff.
Wait, why'd you say whoa real quick?
ETH just wicked.
All of them ripping. So Jackson Hole just started.
Wicking up?
Yeah, up. Everything's ripping up.
That means
holy shit.
The insiders are fucking. The insiders are in on it.
We missed an opportunity to go to J-Hole with these nice jackets, hang out and do our podcast from the mountains. How do we not do this?
Someone said it's more bearish if it rips before the meeting.
Yeah, it's usually the fake out.
Oh, shit. We'll see. Short? Ray, short it. It's a fake out, Ray.
It's a fake out.
I don't know if I want to short this candle.
Look at that volume candle too, bro.
Yeah.
This is where Ray buys.
Keezy, the reputable owner of Tootsie's Strip Club in Orlando, Florida, weighed in, and he said, "Now we're tanking after that." Thank you for the insight there, Keezy. Let the girls know I'll be back next weekend.
Here's the thing. It's probably ripping. I bet you some intern put the Jackson Hole speech online accidentally. You know, like it wasn't supposed to be revealed yet, but it's like hittable.
No, insiders always just fucking do this shit. You saw the PolyMarket insiders pumping Trump into the election the day of, big time, when he was supposed to allegedly lose. Wait, Kicks, am I remembering this properly? Was Trump going to lose like the morning of the election, the morning of election night? Did Harris have a lead on PolyMarket?
Yes.
I thought that was the case, which is kind of crazy.
Like 55-45.
I think it was smaller. I think it was like 52-48, but it was very, very close. It was basically a coin toss.
That's still nuts.
But you have to think too, with that quote coin toss, that shifted within the first 15 minutes. and the like public polls were showing like a 90% chance.
Yeah. So real quick, back to the real estate thing. People have been pointing out these bullish indicators. Warren Buffett taking an interest in real estate again. You know, the proposition of rate cuts. What emerging technology company that's looking for a new CEO could potentially benefit, given their place in the market when it comes to real estate?
Wait, say that question again.
What emerging technology company that's looking for a new CEO?
Open.
They want
shit.
Travis Kalanick or Kalanick, whatever his name is, the dude from Uber who got unjustly ousted from Uber during the woke era. He went on a podcast like a month ago. I think it was the All In podcast, and where he basically said he was looking for his next project, and people are like, "Yo, you made a taxi cab company that doesn't own any taxi cabs. Go and make this real estate company that doesn't own any real estate." And the open people are like, let's fucking get this guy Kalanick or whatever his name is, Kalanick. I don't know. Could be like really good.
That's a big deal.
If they get Kalanick,
Dude, the market is flying right now. Like, Powell's talking right now. The 10-year treasury is like just nuking, like absolutely nuking. S&P up 1.3% already.
Pull up Fed watch.
This is a
Fed watch. Rate cut,
dude.
This rate cut's moving.
This is a fucking rip.
ETH is gig ascending.
It's up 3% since he started talking.
Powell, shifting balance of risk may warrant adjusting policy.
Look on these.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get it.
Look on these nuts. Look on these nuts.
Okay, relax.
Feels like the worst time
on
to
these
long.
nuts is great.
I did not say that. I was coming. Open stock ripping 384, dude. Put some cash in the bank, buy some open stock. Woo!
81% chance.
Yo, we got Dan's crypto here. Dan's
Dude,
crypto.
PolyMarket just flipped FedWatch, which is crazy because it had for the last like 4 days has been lower.
Dude,
this is wild.
Crypto
liquidity. Liquidity is the issue here.
This is the kind of guy who in 8th grade, he would have told the teacher on Friday, you forgot to give us homework over the weekend. He goes, all speculation. Where is Powell talking? I don't see him talking yet. Sorry. Yo, go back to the woods, bear. Go back to the woods, bear.
He's been in crypto since 08.
Who's been in crypto since 08?
Dan Crypto 08.
Dude, Dan Crypto was a fetus in 08.
Yeah, maybe he was born in 08. That'd make him
17.
Clemente was born in like what? 2004?
99. Oh, he's talking right now.
Actually,
He's talking. He's talking there.
Dude, he's yapping right now. Saying the job market data's like not signifying anything good. This is crazy.
Look at this old crusty motherfucker.
I long just strictly on these rumors that he said. Who said in the tariff effects on consumer prices now clearly visible?
Yeah, I longed this morning. I longed too small. I wish I longed bigger. I'm up decently on this chain link long.
Let's go.
I'm messing with you, by the way, Dan. Just having a good time. I know you're a good listener. I'm just fucking around. I don't literally go back to the woods, and I don't actually think you were born in 2008.
What is the Yeezy coin doing here based on the inflation data?
What, Clemente?
You're bumming him out.
I'm not trying to bum him out. I was playing around. Come on, Dan. You can make fun of me back.
I mean, look at this giga pump. Where ETH is back at 4,500.
Tattoo's back on the menu.
Abandoning the FAIT framework, which that leaked yesterday. That Fate was going to be abandoned this year, the 2020 structure, which is good.
Man, we'd be a lot cooler if we leveraged longed right before that all happened.
Yep. I like how we're like, let's sit on our hands and just immediately go to trade.
I still think it's a good move, but if this holds, you basically like I'm watching Chainlink to 28, hype back up to 50, sold a 200, ETH all-time highs. Clemente has to get a tattoo, Bitcoin back over 120 within the next like week.
Shit.
Dude, send it.
It looks good here. It looks good here.
For the
Looks
first
very
time in
good
a
here.
while, I'm fully ready for it to send. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Most of the time when things send, I get anxiety because I'm like, my position's not big enough. Like, I have.
Dude, he came in so dovish, dude. This is so surprising. I should have known. CT, myself included, was like, he's probably going to come in hawkish or neutral.
CT's always wrong.
JD Vance is making us say please. Fucking go.
Fans will make code damn.
All right, can we end the show so I can go listen to J-Pal?
Let's end
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
you all
no,
for
dude,
listening.
let's keep doing this.
Oh,
you
yeah,
all for listening.
Clemente pumping on the news, dude.
Clemente's going to pull a muscle with that dance, dude. Dude's not athletic enough.
Dude,
Trolls
wait,
at 250.
Did you see that?
Yeah, all-time high.
Have you
Wait,
seen
wait, dude. Look
Yo,
at this chart.
Ray,
Look
Ray,
at this
pull that up.
chart. This is the dollar.
Oh,
Second them dollars.
They're calling that the Trump chart. He's literally like, tank the fucking dollar, pump the market, let's go.
Now's a good time to get in the export business if you're in the United States.
Yeah, you want to stream the speech, but Ray, I also did like that thing that one of our audience members built, super cool, where it compares just Bitcoin versus these boys
I had
trading.
him add Bitcoin. I had him add, if we just held Bitcoin, I had him add that because I was very curious. So he backdated it to when we bought in.
That's
So
good.
shout out, who made this? What's his name? I forget his name.
Natty Light.
Natty Light. Shout out Natty Light. Unreal. He just threw it together wicked fast.
Oh, Natty
Absolute
Light
legend.
did this?
yeah.
Yeah, give
Oh,
him
that
a follow from the Bodoggins account.
Yeah, give him a
Big
follow.
beer
He's a huge alcoholic.
He's just slamming
this is
beers.
Fucking send.
He's got serious issues. Let's pull up Jerome Powell speaking.
Because of higher prices, demand and get higher wages from employers, setting off wage price dynamics. Given that the labor market is not particularly tight and faces increasing downside risks, that outcome does not seem likely. Another possibility is that inflation expectations could move up, dragging actual inflation with them. Inflation has been above our target for more than 4 years and remains a prominent concern for households and businesses. Measures of longer-term inflation expectations, however, as reflected in market and survey-based measures, appear to remain well anchored and consistent with our longer-run inflation objective of 2%. Of course, we cannot take the stability of inflation expectations for granted. Come what may, we will not allow a one-time increase in the price level to become an ongoing inflation problem. So, putting the pieces together, what are the implications for monetary policy? In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation.
Short everything.
When our goals are in tension like this, our framework calls for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. Our policy rate is now 100 basis points closer to neutral than it was a year ago. And the stability of the unemployment rate and other labor market measures allows us to proceed carefully as we consider changes to our policy stance. Nonetheless, with policy in restrictive territory, the baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance.
Oh, see you later, dude.
Monetary policy is not on a preset course. FOMC members will make these decisions based solely on their assessment of the data and its implications for the economic outlook and the balance of risks.
Oh my God.
We will never deviate from that approach.
Trump's eating McDonald's tonight.
Turning then to my second topic. Our monetary policy framework is built on the unchanging foundation of our mandate from Congress to foster maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. We remain fully committed to fulfilling our statutory mandate, and the revisions to our framework will support that mission across a broad range of economic conditions. Our revised statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy, which we refer to as our consensus statement to save time, describes how we pursue our dual mandate goals. It is designed to give the public
or pause it instead of muting it. I wanted to hear what Easy was going to say.
The short note on it was he said that we are seeing risks to employment rising. Base case for tariff is short-lived, and the base case balance of risks is warranting a policy adjustment. We now are up on Fed rate cuts On Kalshi and PolyMarket, all-time high. FedWatch is not updated. So it looks like, this thing is basically pricing in the September rate cut.
Wow.
This is crazy. And now traders are pricing in 2 rate cuts at a minimum going into the end of the year.
Open doors about to break $4. Let's keep watching.
BTC
Discussions
just
and deliberations
115.
supported by staff analysis at a series of FOMC meetings. In approaching this year's review, a key objective has been to make sure that our framework is suitable across a broad range of economic conditions. At the same time, the framework needs to evolve with changes in the structure of the economy and our understanding of those changes. The Great Depression presented different challenges from those of the Great Inflation and the Great Moderation, which in turn are different from the ones we face today. At the time of the last review, we were living in a new normal, characterized by the proximity of interest rates to the effective lower bound, or ELB, along with low growth, low inflation, and a very flat Phillips curve, meaning that inflation was not very responsive to slack in the economy. To me, a statistic that captures that era is that our policy rate was stuck at the ELB for 7 long years following the onset of the global financial crisis in late 2008. Many here will recall the sluggish growth and painfully slow recovery of that era. It appeared highly likely that if the economy experienced even a mild downturn, our policy rate would be back at the ELB very quickly, probably for another extended period. Inflation and inflation expectations could then decline in a weak economy, raising real interest rates as nominal rates were pinned near zero. Higher real rates would further weigh on job growth and reinforce the downward pressure on inflation and inflation expectations, triggering an adverse dynamic. The economic conditions that brought the policy rate to the ELB and drove the 2020 framework changes were thought to be rooted in slow-moving global factors that would persist for an extended period. And they might well have done so, if not for the pandemic. The 2020 consensus statement included several features that addressed the ELB-related risks that had become increasingly prominent over the preceding 2 decades. We emphasized the importance of anchored inflation, longer-term inflation expectations to support both our price stability and maximum employment goals. Drawing on an extensive literature on strategies to mitigate risks associated with the ELB, we adopted flexible average inflation targeting, a makeup strategy to ensure that inflation expectations would remain well anchored, even with the ELB constraint. In particular, we said that following periods when inflation had been running persistently above 2%, appropriate monetary policy would likely aim to achieve inflation moderately above 2% for some time. In the event, rather than low inflation in the ELB, the post-pandemic reopening brought the highest inflation in 40 years to economies around the world. Like most other central banks and private sector analysts, through year-end 2021, we thought that inflation would subside fairly quickly without a sharp tightening in our policy stance, as this slide will show. When it became clear this was
slides,
responded forcefully, raising our policy rate by 5.25 percentage points over 16 months. That action, combined with the unwinding of pandemic supply disruptions, contributed to inflation moving much closer to our target without the painful rise in unemployment that has accompanied previous efforts to counter high inflation. This year's review considered how economic conditions have evolved over the past 5 years. During this period, we saw that the inflation situation can change rapidly in the face of large shocks. In addition, interest rates are now substantially higher than was the case during the era between the global financial crisis and the pandemic. With inflation above target, our policy rate is restrictive, modestly so in my view. We cannot say for certain where rates will settle out over the longer run, but their neutral rate may now be higher than during the 2010s, reflecting changes in productivity, demographics, fiscal policy, and other factors that affect the balance between saving and investment. During the review, we discussed how the 2020 statement's focus on the ELB may have complicated communications about our response to high inflation. We concluded that the emphasis on an overly specific set of economic conditions may have led to some confusion, and as a result, we made several important changes to the consensus statement to reflect that insight. First, we removed language indicating that the ELB was a defining feature of the economic landscape. Instead, We noted that our monetary policy strategy is designed to promote maximum employment and stable prices across a broad range of economic conditions. The difficulty of operating near the ELB remains a potential concern, but it is not our primary focus. The revised statement reiterates that the committee is prepared to use its full range of tools to achieve its maximum employment and price stability goals, particularly if the federal funds rate is constrained by the ELB. Second, we returned to a framework of flexible inflation targeting and eliminated the makeup strategy. As it turned out, the idea of an intentional moderate inflation overshoot had proved irrelevant. There was
4,600 ETH
moderate about the inflation that arrived
Unreal.
a few months after we announced our 2020 changes to the consensus statement, as I acknowledged publicly in 2021.
I just closed the loan.
Well-anchored inflation were critical to our success in bringing down inflation without a sharp increase in unemployment.
With 2K.
Anchored expectations promote the
Yo, it
return
smells
of
like
inflation
bitch
to
in
target when adverse shocks drive inflation higher, and limit the risk of deflation when the economy weakens. Further, they allow monetary policy to support maximum employment in economic downturns without compromising price stability. Our revised statement emphasizes our commitment to act forcefully to ensure that longer-term inflation expectations remain well anchored to the benefit of both sides of our dual mandate. It also notes that price stability is essential for a sound and stable economy and supports the well-being of all Americans. This theme came through loud and clear at our Federalist events. The past 5 years have been a painful reminder of the hardship that high inflation imposes,
Yeah, cut the race,
especially
Jerome.
on those
I'm out.
least able to meet the higher costs of necessities. Third, our 2020 statement said that we would mitigate shortfalls rather than deviations from maximum employment. The use of shortfalls reflected the insight that our real-time assessments of the natural rate of unemployment, and hence of maximum employment, are highly uncertain. The later years of the post-global financial crisis recovery featured employment running for an extended period above mainstream estimates of its sustainable level, along with inflation running persistently below our 2% target. In the absence of inflationary pressures, it might not be necessary to tighten policy based solely on uncertain real-time estimates of the natural rate of unemployment. We still have that view, but our use of the term shortfalls was not always interpreted as intended, raising communications challenges. In particular, falls was not intended as a commitment to permanently forswear preemption or to ignore labor market tightness. Accordingly, we removed shortfalls from our statement. Instead, the revised document now states more precisely that the
We're going to jump here. Thank you all for listening. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Absolutely awesome coming out of Jackson Hole. Looks like we're getting a dovish Jackson Hole out of Powell. Thank you all for listening. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Listen back on all major podcasting platforms. Watch us on YouTube. Have a great weekend. We're going for all-time highs. We're going to get there. Love you guys. See you on Monday.